What's up, everybody? Welcome to Move the Sticks. DJ, Bucky, and Baldy. And Baldy, as we get started here, Bucky knows about this. It was a tough weekend for me. It just was.
Was it?
So
tough about?
So let me just give you the backstory here, Baldy, real quick. So my daughter, who's now married and lives in Fort Worth, but this is maybe 5 years ago. She knew like I'm a lifelong Padre fan and like probably too much of a fan. So she thought it would be funny for my Christmas gift one year. She goes, you know what? I'm going to get Dad a coffee mug and then see if he thinks it's real funny. So this is the coffee mug that she bought me. Now, since she bought me this coffee mug 5 years ago,
the Dodgers have won.
This stinking team have won three World Series, including back-to-back. So I'm drinking the coffee today, and then I'm going to throw this mug away. And hopefully that's going to be the last time I have to watch the Dodgers.
Well, not that you want to hear this, DJ, but I'm thankful it was daylight savings time this weekend because I stayed up for the 11 innings.
Yeah.
That was as good a baseball game I've ever seen. It was a great game. I mean, if we're talking about X's and O's and execution and all that stuff, I never seen more catches, more tags, more throws that got us to 11 innings than in that game.
Yeah, I want to start here a little bit because we got tons of football we're going to get to, but I do think it's something we've talked about, Buck, with team building over the years. And I tongue in cheek and I make fun of the Dodgers because of the checkbook, and I joke around that our minor league teams in Lake Elsinore, theirs is the country of Japan. But nonetheless, at the end of the day, I feel like I enjoyed watching the Miguel Rojas type players. The Andy Pajes gets inserted, makes a play in center field. And I feel like every championship team, and we see it every year. Just watch the Super Bowl every year. What was it? Corey Clement one year with the Eagles has a great game. Like and we've had guys on. I've talked to hockey buddies that are in personnel, and they talk about, hey, at the trade deadline, we're trying to get championship glue. Like we're not chasing star. We got this. We have the stars. Like we just need the glue to kind of hold all this stuff together. And I thought it was another example of whatever sport you're in that you got to have those types of guys. I
agree. And they're like, to see where some of those guys started this year and where they finished, celebrating and the confetti falling, all the stuff that happened to the Dodgers and to Toronto as well. I mean, they had similar type guys, but we'll see what happens by Tuesday. Trades are already being made, but I mean, you watch some of these guys that are coming out of nowhere. Kyle Manungai, we'll get to it.
Oh yeah, I did him too. I'm looking forward to that conversation.
Yeah,
100%. Buck, did you give me and Bucky, for those who don't know, is the Dodger fan, adopted but still a Dodger fan. But give me a Move the Sticks team building takeaway.
I would say outside of team building, man, can you have a team that can execute the fundamentals under pressure?
Yeah,
I think when I look at them. And I think about the last two times they won, when they beat the Yankees, whatever. We can talk about the talent, but really it was the execution of fundamentals in high pressurized environments. Can you turn to double play? Do you have the awareness to know where to go with the ball in those moments? Because we saw the Phillies. The Phillies basically gifted the Dodgers a thing because the pitcher had a brain fart in a critical moment.
That pressure just tightened them up, man.
And so it's funny because MJD came and spoke to my high school team last week, and he talked about, can you do the routine things routinely? But when you get in pressure moments, can you do the simple things like make the throw the first? Can you get the cutoff man? Can you do the things that you practice all the way from Little League to the majors when the game is on the line? To me, that's everything. And we see that in the National Football League. I'm looking at the Patriots. The Patriots are winning because they're just executing the fundamentals and playing complementary football. Like, if you ask me what has really changed in them is they're playing complementary football at a fundamental level. That's why they're winning.
Yeah, I think there's also, last thing, we'll get to the football here, but there's also just kind of knowing your identity. And I think that when you get in those big moments, it's a fight or flight. Like you get the guys who are in attack. We're going to attack and aggressive. And again, I go back to you go back to the Philly special like that. Whoa. Okay. Yeah. Like there's no such thing as playing on your heels. You are playing on your toes and you're playing in attack mode and you go for it. And, and the Blue Jays, I'm sure will have a lot of, of these little regrets. You don't get a good secondary lead off third base. Like that play was this close. Like if you'd have just executed that one little fundamental, you win the World Series. Like And it's like that in football all the time. Game of inches, famous quote. But let's jump into these games, guys. Let's start, first of all, Baldy, let's go KC Buffalo. I took a look and really did a little fun study on Josh Allen in this one, but I'd love to know what your takeaways were in this ball game.
Well, Aaron Cromer, the offensive line coach, he's got a great offensive line, but they get on a play. They will run that play over and over. They ran a counter tray with Jackson Hawes, this rookie tight end who's really a great blocker, and Reggie Gilliam. They ran it literally 3 times in a row, but they ran it 8 times before Kansas City finally shut it down. They got James Cook going his first time in 28 games where the Chiefs surrendered a 100-yard rusher. And I thought that's where it started. I thought on offense, like they really won the line of scrimmage. And you know what Spag's going to line up, Bolton and Tranquil and Chenal, and you're going to throw big linebackers and stack the box. And they got creases on that play, a bunch. And then, Josh, did what he does, just being able to extend plays and find open receivers and all that kind of stuff. So I thought that was that side of the ball. And then on the other side, I thought Cole Bishop really showed up. I mean, he defended 4 balls, 2 of them in the end zone, 1 at the very end of the game. And I thought Joey Bosa played the best game I've seen him play in probably a couple of years. Like he's been a factor. It helps that Milano and Bernard are back in there. But those are some of the things I saw, DJ, that James Cook got busy. And, they stayed with the run. They're one of the teams in this league right now. The trend started last year. They run it more than they've thrown it. They're a running team. We saw that when they changed the coordinators last year, and that has not changed this year.
Help me out, guys. Cole Bishop, is he 24?
Yeah, 24.
Okay, go. Yeah, I'm gonna look at his notes.
So Cole Bishop really, there was some question marks in the back end, especially with Mahomes and all that speed they got, Bucky. And I thought he was everywhere. He was man to man on Xavier Worthy. He was on the back half. He was in center field. He was everywhere in this game.
6'2", 206, 445, 3 sacks, 2 picks. I wrote down Johnny on the spot. He directs traffic. He's a communicator. He kills running backs as a blitzer. He's plays some nickel backer. He can shed blocks. He's physical versus the tight end. He's very comfortable and effective in the robber role, kind of playing in that spot of the field. So I always like when if Baldy notices something on the NFL tape, it's always fun to go back and look at the college notes and see if there's a marriage there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's certainly something there. And we've talked about the Buffalo Bills, and we talked about the sum of the parts and how they kind of put together and how they have a clear blueprint for how they want to play on offense and defense. In defense in particular, it is a championship puzzle. They don't necessarily have stars, but they have a bunch of role players that collectively play at a high level. And when you get them to play offense the way they want to play, where they're running the football, they're dominating time of possession, they're controlling the clock, their ability to play complementary football at a high level gives them a chance to beat anybody. And in this game, what I love about Sean McDermott and Josh Allen is they are the chameleon. They're the team that can engage in shootouts, they can play in grounded out affairs, and they don't mind doing either to win. Just a really good win for the Buffalo Bills. And at a time when people were talking about, here come the Chiefs, they squashed that right away with a great performance on Sunday.
They're largely a zone team. So there's a sequence of plays at the end of the first half where the Chiefs are down, they're knocking on the door. They're down on the 2-yard line. And you see these teams break down in zone coverage all the time. They don't break down in zone coverage. They know when that ball's in the air, there's BBs. Bishop was one of them that are coming to contact. I didn't know if Kelsey was going to make it to the second half the way Bishop hit him in the end zone there, just buckling him. And so they held the Chiefs to a field goal there. It was one of the differences in the game right at the end of the first half.
That's great, man. I didn't get a chance to watch the defensive tape yet. I did see just looking at the numbers, I think Rousseau had 9 or 10 pressures in that game too. So it sounds like he had a pretty good game. On the defensive side of the ball, I did go and watch all Josh's stuff, and it was interesting how fast everything was happening for the first portion of this game. It was just quick decisions. I just wrote down in my notes, he does not turn down easy wins. If you're going to give him a completion and an easy win, he's going to take it right now. Some of it is in the screen game that's designed, but I mean, he's reading it and he's just taking it. And what he does, I think about, remember when we were all growing up and we were playing basketball and you'd warm up doing the dribbling drills. So you'd start pounding the ball really, really low. And it's just that quick. And then you start bouncing it higher like that, letting the ball bounce. And so it's that's his rhythm. He's going to go out there. Buck always likes to talk about, hey, let's just see the ball go through the hoop a couple times, find our rhythm, and then we can get a little bit more aggressive. So he does that, and then it's like, man, he kind of found that little zone. And then now, next thing you know, now we've got cover 2. I'm playing with the corner. I'm pulling him up. I'm whipping a 7 route right over his ear. Now I'm hitting these tight ends on these end cuts. Like, he kind of eases his way into the game. And then you look up at the end of the game, and the guy's 23 of 26
for
273, and including in that, I think there was a drop. So they really had 2 incompletions. And then he ho hum, they can go and quarterback sneak it and get 2 touchdowns out of him that way as well. So I asked Harbaugh this question the other day, Baldy, and I thought he gave actually a great answer. But I said, I feel like in football, when we talk about rhythm, we only talk about it in terms of like the passing game and a quarterback, finds his rhythm. I said, how about like in the run game? Like, do you feel like that rhythm? And he gave this great answer about how all of sports, he said, I don't care in football if you're a corner, it's just getting in a rhythm with your feet and your hands. Yeah. And you think about the run game. So, basketball, he said, all of sports is about rhythm. And I thought, man, like this is a way, like that was offensively for them, running the ball, quick completions. Like, I just thought there was a good rhythm and a flow to what they were doing, Baldy.
I feel like the way Joe Brady calls a game right now, like he feels that rhythm. There's times when they will go up tempo, but when I tell you, like the week before, they ran the same play 9 times in the game, same run. I mean, they don't even try to even window dress it. They just line up in a formation and just go. It looks like it's a summer 9-on-7 drill. We're just going to work on this counter trade today. We're going to perfect this play. And like that's what they get into that rhythm in the game. Like they'll just dial it up. Sometimes they double it up because it's supposed to work, and sometimes because it did work. But either way, they stay with it.
Buck, those 90s Cowboys teams, did you play against them at all?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, we lost.
Because I always thought, just as someone who was watching that casually, that was like hey, there's no secrets. This is our 3 running plays, and here it comes. Stop it.
One day I'm going to ask Irv this, because we swore that they didn't believe in audibles. Like they would line up and whatever you were in, it didn't matter. Like you could play cover 2 and they're still going to throw the comeback. They're still going to do whatever it is. They're going to run sprint draw to Emmitt Smith and come right downhill. And they were so arrogant about it because they say, when I'm better than you, why do I need to trick you? We're better. So they just line up and do their thing. And there is something to what Baldy's saying with the Buffalo Bills about, hey, there's no need for us to stop us. If this team can't stop this play, we're going to keep running it until they show that they can stop it. And then when they stop it, we're going to run it again to make sure that they found the answer and it wasn't luck that they stopped it. But that's what great play callers do. And look, I can say this, and I learned it from watching Steve Spurrier when he was at Duke and I was a freshman. Steve Spurrier will run one play on one side, flip the formation, and run the exact same play. And I was like, I've never seen anybody do this. But he's like, if you can't stop it, I'm just going to keep running it. And there is some ingenuity to being able to do that.
And one of the things I think you were talking about going back to team building, DJ, one of the reasons why the Bills have not been able to get past the Chiefs in the postseason is they haven't affected Mahomes enough. And yesterday they hit him 15 times. Yeah. Bosa hit him 5 times all by himself. And there was a lot of deep throws where Mahomes never saw the ball. Like he was like literally, on the turf in Buffalo there. And so that's the formula. And whether it was Rousseau or Bosa or Epinesa, like they got to Mahomes yesterday. And honestly, for the first time this year, the tackles were terrible. Like Jalen Moore, like all of a sudden you go,
they need to get Simmons back.
They got to get Simmons back. Jawan Taylor, he's going to have a holding call. He's going to do something. He's going to jump off sides. Like I thought yesterday, and then Wanye Morris came in for him. And I thought they really beat the tackles up bad yesterday. And they had been pretty good to this point.
No doubt. Let's get to another game here. At this point in time, as someone who's been on the Darnold train, man, like it's to the point now I don't even have to argue anymore. I mean, I just kind of sit back and just say, enjoy the show.
Perfection, DJ.
I mean, if you're into incompletions, he's not your guy. I mean, I'll just tell you that right now. But I mean, perfect first half for him. Ended up as a ridiculous stat line. I'll jump in on something real quick because we can talk about Sam. We've talked about him a bunch, but Torrey Horton, when he was drafted, I mean, he was. It was such. It was so ridiculous, Buck. It was like when you're sitting there on the desk, and it's to the point where you start texting guys and calling guys and being like, dude, what am I missing? Am I taking crazy pills? How the heck is this guy still on the board? Like this isn't all that hard. I know he hadn't been totally healthy, but this is not tough. He has 2 touchdowns in this game. You can get it to him quick. I mean, it's a boat race. He runs a corner route, and it's just like he's open 10 yards.
I mean,
it's not even close.
Such a fast route that he wins on.
What a steal and a find for them.
Did he drop because of a knee problem?
He didn't play much as last year. He didn't play as well. I'll pull up my notes on him right now. Excellent 23, was hurt this year. Inside, outside, smooth mover, can separate deep. Excellent agility, change of direction. He can work back. He's got a huge catch radius. He's 6'0", 2'4", 196. He ran 4.41. So he was my 73rd overall player, and I think he was a 5th round pick.
5th round pick,
maybe. Yeah,
5th round pick.
What the heck? I didn't understand that one, but man, he was great. And then I got a text from Brock Heward this morning because I do that thing with him every week, and he said, he's like, "Hey, go watch the receivers block," because I've been hammering this same point all year, which is my culture definition now for teams is how physical are your little guys and how do your big guys run. So if you got defensive linemen that are hustling and chasing, and you've got corners that are tackling, and you got receivers that are blocking, you got linemen who are efforting, straining to finish, like that means you got your culture dialed in, Baldy. And I think the Seahawks team's got it big time on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Gray Zabel was the perfect pick, at left guard for him, really solidified the line. But honestly, like, I think sometimes you just put the quarterback and the coordinator together. Like Sam and Clint Kubiak, it's a symphony right now, the way this thing is operating. And I know we've talked about Smith and Jigba before, but I know Jamar's probably going to lead the league with catches and all that stuff, but I don't know if there's a more difficult guy to defend in this league right now than Jackson Smith and Jigba and what he does to separate, like his subtle moves. I always thought, Bucky, that, to be a great route runner, you got to be able to change direction without losing speed. And his subtle movements to separate are as good as anybody right now.
He's terrific. Haven't had a chance to watch them a few weeks ago, early in the month when they came to Seattle. When they came to Jacksonville. That team is well constructed. DJ, you talked about Sam Darnold and their offense. Their offense is one that has a rhythm and a flow to it. You talk about Jim Harbaugh talks about getting into a rhythm. That's what you feel. Jackson Smith and Jigba is the one, though. He is the number one option. He is a smooth route runner. He has big playability. I feel like each game he has even more confidence and more competitive arrogance that shows up. Like he kind of has this bounce in his step where he knows I'm the man and you can't stop me. And I feel like great players have that, and I'm seeing that in him. But then he's surrounded by a bunch of guys that can get it done. You talked about Horton. You got Elijah Arroyo. You have other wide receivers that can come up and make big plays, and they still can get to the running game when they want to. This is a really good team because that offense operates like that. And then defensively, I'm going to tell you, man, you can be hard-pressed to find a more disruptive and athletic group of trench warriors than what they have in Seattle.
There's a million of them.
Leonard Williams,
Murphy,
Nwosu, you got DeMarcus Lawrence. Jaron Reed. They are just rolling these guys in. And look, I would say this. If this was a dating app, they certainly have a type because all these guys look the same. They are all the same type, big hands, they dominate. They are, look, man, this is a team that is emerging as one of those dark horse contenders that we're going to talk about in the end because they certainly have a team that can get it done.
We've talked about Big Cat Williams, a lot this year, but honestly, I always thought, DJ, that for most defensive linemen, not all, but most, it takes a year to figure it out. And I feel like Byron Murphy has figured it out.
Oh, yeah.
Like he is now a real not just in the run. That guy is a real factor. He looks like it's a great John Schneider pick right there, that he's going to be like the middle of that defense with Duran and Big Cat, the whole group right now for a long time.
I wish, these teams haven't played yet, but I'd be all for it if we could have the first ever doubleheader and just say we're going to have the Rams and the Seahawks play it. Let's start the first game at 11. Let's play that first game. Let's get some orange slices in. Let's get a little bit of a break, and then we come back and play at 7:00 and let these two teams go at it again. Those games are going to be a war. All right, guys. Next one. This is the one that we're going to talk about that I didn't have a chance to get to the tape yet. So I'm going to have to defer to you guys. We had, all this crazy stuff going on. So we were late getting in last night, coming home from Nashville with the Chargers. So this is the one I didn't get. Indy Pitt. So Baldy, why don't you jump off here? Tell me what I missed in this game.
Yeah, I was there. I was there from the beginning. I talked to our boy Andy Weidel before the game, and honestly, I went down just pre-game. I was on the field. I was talking to TJ and Highsmith, and I met Jack Sawyer for the first time. And I told those guys, like, you're going to turn this thing around. They'd given up 68 points and losses to Cincinnati and Green Bay. If you guys go, I just told TJ, if you're going to turn this thing around here, it's got to be with you guys. And honestly, the Colts had their way for the first quarter. They went up and down the field, and then TJ turned a corner on Braden Smith, got the sack fumble recovery, and it was all downhill from there. Like, they dominated the front all game. And it was interesting. They had traded for Kyle Duggar this week. You know, I think he arrived on Tuesday or Wednesday. And they had gotten, Deshaun Elliott got hurt and Chuck Clark was ineffective. And they started Jalen Ramsey and Duggar at safety. They played every play and nothing got over their head for the first time all year. Like, nothing went over their head. And it started up front. They had some different looks defensively, they came after Daniel Jones a lot, and they turned it over 6 times in that game. And you could see that this team could still be a problem because they're taking care of the ball in offense. They're not great. They're not dynamic. But when the defense plays like that and you get as many extra bats as you get, because Jonathan Taylor was a non-factor in the game for maybe the first time all year.
You know, what's interesting is whenever you dismiss the Pittsburgh Steelers or count them out, they find a way to always come back with force. And they are a team, and Mike Tomlin has a way of kind of like being able to keep the season in perspective while building that back. What's interesting, you talk about Duggar and Ramsey, safety, and being able to keep the ball in front. Because I worried about they were playing so much man-to-man early, you're seeing the big plays. And I wondered, are they going to need to transition back to what the Steelers have always been, which is a zone team, a zone blitz team, a pressure team with zone behind it, because that's how they eliminate the big plays. And when they're able to take the ball away and do that, it gives them time to kind of warm up that old jalopy of an offense that they're playing with. Because it's not sexy what they're doing offensively, but it can be effective because Aaron Rodgers can get them in and out of plays. He can make a handful of throws to do it, but they're going to need their defense to carry the water because their offense is incapable of being a high-powered offense just based on the personnel and what they have.
Well, I'm looking forward to studying that game. I got the Steelers coming to SoFi this week, so get to see them against the Chargers. So looking forward to seeing what you guys saw on that one. Interesting note here from Gavin in the chat here. Jalen Ramsey, to Baldy's point, 83.6% of his snaps the first time in his career were at safety. The first time he's been over 30% of snaps in the game, so he was 83.6%. And then Duggar, who they just brought in, 72 of 76.
Played every snap. Yeah.
So, I mean, he was out there 97.3%. Like they rolled with those guys, Baldy.
Well, the guy that will pop, and I'm sure that, when he was healthy at North Carolina State, Peyton Wilson was.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know when you see him, you're like, you don't see inside linebackers that are 6'4" with that kind of range and speed. And, he had the interception. Daniel Jones never saw him, a little whip route to Josh Downs. He blocked the pass coming off a blitz that Jack Sawyer intercepted. He had 13 tackles. He was all over the field. And they've been rotating, inside linebackers with Queen and Holcomb. But like Peyton Wilson is their guy. And he was a real difference maker in that game.
So I'm going through my notes on him. I mean, he's in red on my list. So he was my 41st player. He would have been one of my grade-wise would have been one of my top 15 players in that draft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
6'0", he was 233. He ran 4.43. He's a wrestling champion, had, the knee and the shoulder injuries, which is why he fell. A violent player, can shed. He's got excellent instincts, speed and range, can cover in the flat. He's a physical high tackler. He'll chest you up. He can run through you. You know who my comp was on him, Baldy? Because this guy never put it together for an extended period of time. But to me, he was a better version of Kiko Alonso. You remember back in the day, like early on, Kiko was that long, rangy linebacker. Just
Miami and then Buffalo.
He
couldn't stay healthy. But yes, he had a couple really good years.
Yeah,
but it's just to Bucky's point about Pittsburgh. Like they celebrated the 20-year anniversary of their Super Bowl team against Seattle and Detroit. So all the players were back, and Cowher was there, and Ben and you think like even pick a guy from that area, Joey Porter, whatever. That's the Steelers are built around their linebackers, and so but Keanu Benton had a great game, and Cam Hayward showed up, and they came alive. They knew what was on the line. They'd heard all the talk about it, and man, that was an impressive performance against the number one offense in football.
Yeah, it's the best offense I've seen all year in Indy, so that's a big win. Let's get to Minnesota, Detroit. I'll start off on this one. I watched McCarthy's stuff. I was curious to see what he looked like. The numbers pretty pedestrian: 14 of 25, $143. Had 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, and also he ran one in. But watching him, I was really encouraged by it because you can pull out 8 plays in this game and you can see what you need to see. You can see the athleticism. You can see him drive a deep comeback. So if you had any concerns about, does he have a big enough arm? He does. His arm's strong enough to be able to do those things. I thought he saw the field pretty well. When he had a chance to get over the top, he took his shots to get down over the top. Now, some touch stuff, I think that's just rust. You got to get through that. He missed some throws with some accuracy stuff, but I thought there was a toughness to the way he played. He took some shots in the pocket. Thought he saw things pretty clearly. I thought you saw the athleticism. You saw that on a scramble touchdown. And I thought you saw the arm strength. And man, poor Amik Robertson, man. Amik Robertson, he's a tough little player, but I mean, you're asking him to line up on the outside with Justin Jefferson. Jefferson he's just gonna pluck the ball off his head. Like you got no shot. But I go back to watching him at Louisiana Tech. Yeah. Buck. He was such a feisty little player. I admire that, but boy, you bringing a knife to a gunfight when you're out there with Justin Jefferson.
Look, you can't do it. And I understand what they're trying to do with him. And look, he had outplayed because they talked about he had earned the right to be on the field, and I get that. But Justin Jefferson is a different animal. The Minnesota Vikings are interesting because you were hearing all these reports about the discord and, are they falling apart? So it was good to see J.J. McCarthy and this team get a win. And J.J. McCarthy, I think he is whatever they need him to be. Well, he will eventually be whatever they need him to be on a given moment, much like he played at Michigan. He played in a managerial role in Michigan until they needed him to be a playmaker. I still believe he has that in him, and that's going to be the player that he is. Just because, man, I've never heard anybody swear by him as much as Jim Harbaugh swears by this dude being an alpha and a dude. I just think he has it. It was a great win for them because they were in danger of falling behind the pack because the Bears are going, the Packers at the time before that game, they were going, and then the Lions. So it's a great win. It brings that pack all the way back together and gives them a fighting chance to get back into the conversation.
And their next 2 games are home against Baltimore and Chicago. And we'll find out. I mean, they got to 500 here at the halfway point. It rescued their season for a week, but they're going to get tested by two good teams right now.
No question. Chicago, Cincinnati. This game was bonkers. This game almost caused me to miss the bus leaving the stadium in Tennessee because I was up there in the press.
You didn't want to leave.
I'm watching it. All of a sudden, I was like, I was up there with money. I'm like, whoa, we better get going, man. Like we're sprinting down below the stadium to make sure we didn't miss the bus. But I couldn't turn it off. It was like one wild turn after another.
You saw an onside kick recover. I mean,
crazy.
There's so many things in this game. I mean, you remember, I probably date myself here, but they used to have this national commercial during NFL games. It was the New York Life commercial. And the defense would just literally run into each other and fall down. Yeah. And some joker would end up scoring as a result, right? And then they had a different theme every week about it. That looked like the Bengals at the end on that Loveland touchdown right there. Yikes. 2 safeties running into each other right there. They converge, and Loveland makes the biggest plays made so far. I mean, I felt for Jamar Chase when they cut to him on the sideline. Did
you see him after the game, Baldy, when they was walking through the tunnel and they caught the hot mic, caught him saying, "One bleeping stop."
Yeah. Yep.
Can you get one stop? I mean, goodness gracious.
They've scored 80 points in these back-to-back games and lost both.
That's
80 points.
That's hard to do.
Anything like this.
What do you think, Buck?
Look, man, I think they should have known what it was going to be when they made the moves that they made. When they committed all the money to the offense, they let a really good. I feel like I say this every week. They let Lou Anarumo go. They blamed him for the defensive failings, but they never changed what they were doing. They're just not good enough on defense. And there's no way to mask it. They can score 1 million points, but they're going to give up 1,000,001 every week. They just can't slow people down. And it's hard to win with a team that is so one-dimensional in terms of offense and defense. You just can't get it done. On the other side, I'll say give the Bears credit. Caleb Williams and those guys are continuing to show growth. Ben Johnson being able to switch things up to make sure that they're able to win games. and they're in the conversations, which is what they want to be when it comes to the NFC North. But man, if I'm a Bengals fan, I'm pissed off because this is a team on offense in particular that is playoff caliber. They just don't have a defense that can get them there.
I'm curious, DJ, your notes on Kyle
Monungai. I already know you're going
because, he goes for 198 total yards, right? There's no DeAndre Swift. It's Kyle Monungai, and it's Theo Benedict at left tackle. It's Colston Loveland at tight end. Cole Kmet got back. It's Ozzie Trapillo as the third tight end. We've seen all these 13 tight end, packages out there right now. And there's Monungai, and you go, what doesn't he have? Yeah. I know it's the Bengals, and they're just slicing them like turkey, but man, he was impressive.
So Kyle Monungai, you want to know who stylistically my comp was, and I'll get to my notes. Stylistically,
what's his size, first of all, DJ?
So here's his size. Yeah, he's 5'8". So Kyle Monungai, he was 5'0", 8'2", 211. He ran 4.60 in Indy. So he ran amongst the running backs in Indy. He ran the second slowest. Third slowest time, I believe. No, you know what's funny? You know what's interesting? This is a great point here. So let me give you some of the slower running backs from Indy.
Ollie Gordon.
So Cam Scattaboo ran 4.65.
Okay.
Ollie Gordon ran 4.61.
Yep.
And then there was one other guy from Arkansas, Jaquindon Jackson. He ran 4.75, so that was a rough one. But then the other slowest one was Monungai, ran 4.60. So 3 of the 4 slowest guys are playing and making things happen. So throw the 40s out. We've talked about that with running backs before. But he reminded me the way he held the ball and the way he ran. He reminded me of Tiki Barber. He was 5'8", kind of compact guy, holds the ball high and tight. Let's see my notes on him here. No fumbles. He can press and bounce, holds the ball high and tight. Reminds me of a little Tiki Barber. He runs with purpose. He's got kind of a unique style where his offhand, like we used to talk, I remember we used to call it, where he just swings his offhand. It's like a meat grinder, like with his off. He's got kind of he's a very unique looking runner, but I just like the fact that he ran with purpose, trust his eyes, trust his vision, hit it and go. But I went through and watched his explosives in this game.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, if you looked at explosives as a crime against the defense, I'll tell you right now, Darnell Wright and Rome Odunze are going to be character witnesses because they are at the scene of the crime every single time. Darnell Wright was mauling people at right tackle, and Rome Odunze is blocking his tail off in there.
So is Zacchaeus. I'll say this. Ben Johnson emptied the book on. You could draw. I could draw up 8 different runs. I don't care if it was pin and pull, toss crack. I was watching Tooney on an inside trap. They ran every run probably in their playbook at Cincinnati. But they ran the ball a lot though. So
by the way, Baldy, is there anything better than just toss crack? Is there anything better on planet Earth?
My favorite play in the NFL right now. If you get somebody that can pin it, the way Odunze is a good blocker at the point. Yep. You need a guy that can handle that block. You get that, and you get these guys. I at one point it was like rookies on parade. Yeah. It was Theo Benedict, it was Colston Loveland, and here comes Monungai, and I'm like, man, that's pretty good for your draft class right there.
There's 3 plays, Bucky, in this game. There's 3 plays where if you squint and you see Darnell Wright get to the 3rd level, he looks like Penei Sewell. When he gets out and runs like that. I can see Ben Johnson kind of looking at some things going, okay, if I got a right tackle that can kind of move like that, I got some things I can have some fun with here.
Look, man, the offensive line has been the main thing when it came to the Bears. And some of that is, let's replace it by bringing people in. Another part is, let's get the guys to play better. Darnell Wright is one of those guys, when you talk about coming out of Tennessee, he had some nastiness to him. It was just a matter of directing it in the right way. What I
feel like the light just came on. I just remember thinking, am I crazy, Baldy? I just remember thinking he was kind of finding his way and struggling. I watched this game and I was like, whoa.
He was banged up a little bit. And then last year he was off. He was just off. But I feel like the way that they're getting trained right now and the emphasis on the run and the toughness that they're displaying, they can compete in this division right now. Now, defensively, it wasn't good, but I don't know, why can't they go after it right now the way that they can run the ball? They've done it with Swift, without Swift. They're doing it with 3 tight ends, 2 tight ends, extra tackles, rookies. I don't know. It's a pretty good looking coaching job right now. Penalties are way down offensively.
But Buck, when you were with teams, when you had a coach come in that had been elsewhere, Did you ever have guys that were showing you tape from the old place and saying like, hey, you with your skill set, like this is you, like you can do what we did with this player?
Yeah, because they're trying to get you to picture yourself in their thing. And so they'll show you someone who they believe has a similar skill set. And they, hey, if you just do this, this is how we could feature you in this system. And there has to be some carryover because, one, the Chicago players saw what Detroit looked like when they were getting mollywopped by them. They understood what Detroit came with. So when Ben Johnson comes over and talks about, hey, we can do this same kind of transformation here, they believe it. And being able to talk about that crossover, Darnell Wright and Penei Sewell, and look at this and look at that, and you have similar traits, and let's get some of this done. Yeah, I believe it's believable. It's part of the sell job that every head coach has to do with this team.
And, to that point, Buck, it's a great point because you're watching, like you think about Amon-Ra St. Brown in Detroit and how he blocks, how he's a part of it, and you're looking at Adunze, you're looking at Zacchaeus. Like these guys, it looks like they want to go block. They want to go get a piece of somebody. And it's not like they're just sealing somebody on the outside. Like they're digging guys out on these fold blocks coming up and, taking on safeties and stuff. Like it's all inclusive when it comes to that.
They saw Freaky Friday vibe to it, man. And the like switching places. Cause I'm watching Colson Loveland and watched all his targets. And I'm like, well, this looks Sam Laporta, the way he's stretching the field and hitting seams and bouncing off guys and run away from everybody. I'm like, well, yeah, they've got the blueprint. Like they've already had this type of player. So that's why they're finally starting to unleash him a little bit. And he's making some plays where you can win quick in the flat or you can wait. And Caleb, there was, I know there's every week we can do this with Caleb, but every week there's a couple, gosh, you'd like to have that throwback or this throwback. Look, at the end of the game, when they need to make a big throw, that was a freaking seed that he threw on that touchdown. I mean, that thing was a missile. And I saw after
talent showed up.
Yeah, it's there. It's all in there. And I think you could be excited by watching him, what he's done there. Let's get one more game and then we'll let Baldy get running here. Baldy, Carolina, Green Bay, I'd say the most shocking game to me for the weekend.
Well, my favorite thing to do every week here in the film room is to watch Derek Brown. Just take grown men and just throw them. Like he's taken Sean Ryan, he's taken these offensive linemen from the Packers, and he's literally just tossed them. The first play of the game, he makes a play. He rushes the passer. He beats a double team. He doubles back and he makes a play on the other side of the field. Like he's the first one to the ball. But I would say if you're looking at what they're doing now, they actually have Roseboom had an unbelievable game.
15 tackles
in front. Skirton right now and the whole group, Wharton, like they are physical at the point. They got after Jordan Love. There was a reason why they had 6 points on the board. They stopped them on fourth down. They stopped the big play. They busted, Christian Watson over the middle a couple of times. Like he didn't look like he wanted to get up. Like they looked like a completely different defense than what we saw like the week before or some other games. But like they look well coached to me on defense right now. That was the difference in the game.
No doubt. I watch Roseboom stuff because when I see somebody that's 15 tackles, I'm like, okay, let me see what he's got going on. Just really good instincts, man. Like you don't get that type of production unless your eyes work really, really well. I didn't think there was anything where they were physical up front. I didn't think he was overwhelming anybody physically, like just coming down and thumping off guys. But if you can sift and sort and you can beat guys to spots, you can collect a lot of production. And he did it in this game. And then the other thing that stood out when Dowdle goes 25, $130. I went through and watched all his runs, and this offensive line is built to run. And people are going to say, Bryce is only throwing for 100 yards or what have you. Like, this is the formula. Every team, Buck, we talk about this all the time. Mm-hmm. Every team has their own formula to win games. It's different for everybody. This is their formula. It's not them chucking the ball all over the place. It's them with an offensive line built to run block and a good back, and Tremble blocks his tail off at tight end. He is a physical kid. Lewis is turning. I mean, he's an excellent run blocker. Ekwonu is much better in the run game than he is in the pass game. He's moving people. I had to look up a couple numbers because I didn't realize that Corbett was playing center for him. He did a nice job getting up to the second level. And Yash Nijman, am I saying that right? He played well at right tackle in the run game. But that was a cause of concern for me. If I'm a fan of Green Bay and I'm watching this game and I'm going like, I'll tell you what, man, to get out of the NFC Whereas in the AFC, it was like you got to run the quarterback gauntlet. In the NFC, like you're going to get punched in the face every round in the playoffs. Like you better be physical enough to handle it. And watching this game, I was like, oh no, man, that gave me a little concern for Green Bay, Buck.
Yeah. So here, my frustration with Green Bay stems not only from the team being inconsistent, playing up or down to levels of competition, but also like Jordan Love and some of the decisions that he makes with the ball, particularly in crunch. The interception that he threw was ridiculous. Like that. I mean, like I don't know what we're doing. Like just those things.
Well, Derek Brown was hitting him in the mouth when he threw that ball. It's really,
get rid of the rock. But I just like
he should have thrown another one to Michael Jackson in the end zone. He dropped it. He was all by himself. It was a horrible throw, just scrambling.
And so the Packers are a title team on paper, but I don't know if they have the maturity and the know-how to be able to get it done. Because these games, the games against the Browns, like you can't lose these games if you're a title team because one, title teams take care of business. They secure that they're going to play all the games at their home field. And the Packers are letting these games slip. Credit to the Panthers, but this shouldn't be a game where when you're a 13-point favorite that you allow a team to knock you off.
I don't know if you watch this. I didn't see any contribution from Matthew Campbell in this game, DJ. I didn't see like he was any kind of a factor.
I didn't watch them on that side.
Okay.
I watched their defense look like they were a middleweight that showed up to a heavyweight fight and got surprised. I mean, they just moving them. They were moving them at the line of scrimmage. So but Matthew Golden, I mean, he was my top receiver. I was excited to see how they were going to use him and what they were going to do with him. That could be a project for me this week. Maybe I'll pop that in and see what he looks like. But hey, hats off to Carolina. Maybe the most surprising team this year.
5-4 at 9.
They said there was a meme going around with them. And did you see that one, Buck? There was a funny thing on social media that was a picture of Tiger Woods and John Daly. And it had under Tiger Woods, it had the Chiefs 5-4, and John Daly, it had the Panthers 5-4. But hey, we're both golfers, man. We're the same. It's just us. It might look a little different. But we both hit the ball long. Same guy. All right. Hey, this has been fun, Baldy. Enjoy each and every week, man. We'll see you next time. Appreciate you.
Okay.
All right, Buck. There he goes. Always fun to have Baldy on the show as we rip through these games. We'll catch up on the rest of these other games in the next episode and keep this week rolling as we are headed into. Gosh, we are in week 10 of the NFL season. How the heck did that get here so fast? And hey, it's been 5 minutes, so I'm sure another college coach has been fired. Holy moly! Well, we'll touch on that next time right here on Move the Sticks.